I'm going to share this story with you. I started out like everyone else working for others, and it was very obvious to me quickly on that I needed to work for myself. I had no idea what direction to go in, but I knew I loved design, and I started designing clothing. My mother even helped me with the patterns and sewing, and we created a like cruise wear line and bathing suits and cover-ups and summer clothing. I hit a wall. And then a friend of mine said, come on down to the apparel mart with me in Atlanta, Georgia, I lived in Atlanta at the time. So I went there and she introduced me to this lovely man who was from India. I was a little afraid of him at first because he just was really clear about himself and he didn't have a lot to say. But when he did, it started changing my life. So he pulled me out into the hallway at the apparel mart. It's like a walking mall, but this is where people sell wholesale goods to those who have like retail stores or are jewelry designers or what have you. Across the hall were two people that looked kind of like shops that he had, and right next to him on either side, all of these four people have the exact same items I have. And I'm like, well, how is that a good thing? Isn't that competition? He said, it's the oldest Indian kind of marketing trick. It's very ancient. So if you've got your wares and you put them down and people come next to you, you actually draw more people. And they also each have a little bit of their very own type of things. I thought, okay, I didn't really understand it then, but he said that his business grew 5 times with four other people. I was like, wow. Another thing that he taught me was there was so many things that money is paper strips and little metal discs that we have given value to, right? So he had asked me to go ahead and work with him during Apparel Mart, which is very similar to Fashion Week in New York, but this is just tens of thousands of people coming to make purchases to fill up their supplies to their stores or their businesses. He didn't give me much information. He just said it was going to be important for me to do as a business person. So on that day, that week, the first day, there were 20 people deep, just like he did mention to me. And there was kind of little envelopes with people's money in them, names, and their order. But it was a madhouse. It was like a mosh pit. Well, it was like that, but just with money. This was a very small little store, and I couldn't believe the amount of people. There were hundreds of them. And interestingly, the cash register was simply a large cardboard box. I'd say 2.5 feet. The money was flying. He said to me, he said, I know that you think money means a certain thing. He said, but here it's just an exchange of value. That's it. It's meaningless other than the exchange of value. And if you have the high value within yourself, money exchanges in a calm and peaceful way, and there's a lot of abundance. I had no idea what he was talking about. I was in my early 20s, and he said, make sure you just give back the correct change. Other than that, we never really worry about money here ever. So that box, they had to bring out another box and another box. And there were just boxes filled with money. He never counted it. He would put it in a bag, shake it around, sling it over his shoulder, and take it to the bank, and they counted it for him. He never made any connection to the money other than it was an exchange of value. He taught me about fear and the fear around money, and that abundance was always here, no matter how much we thought it wasn't. That would be our focus, that the money or that the abundance wasn't there. And that was the problem. And so, therefore, it took me time to really understand this because I really didn't come from understanding business or anything like that. In fact, I didn't even know what spirituality was. And one day he said to me, you're a wreck inside. You're an anxious wreck. He says, you need a solid foundation. He said, it's time for you to start meditating. And I was like, why would I do that? I didn't even know what it meant. And when that happened, I used to just fall asleep in the beginning because there was resistance in me pushing that away. And then I saw him in my inner travel, in my inner world. He would meet me on a certain plane. And I thought I was dreaming, but it kept happening. And he would tell me exactly what my questions were to him. So that was the beginning of some traveling that I would do internally as an inner voyager. And it helped me really understand what being fearless was, although I worked on it for many, many decades, unfolding the fear so I could be without it and just be myself and be in the abundance. So I have created a system for people called Fearless Abundance. It is a foundational course that will deeply assist in connecting inside with the body so you have this communication start to happen. I'd love to see you on the other side. If you have any questions, you can always hit reply and ask me. And I'm looking forward to seeing you as you move into this open space within yourself, because there is so much more available to you than you realize. So I'm handing my beautiful experience, taking this information, and I'm handing it over to you so that you also can have an opportunity to move into this openness through a structured framework. Take care.